Welcome back to another video. Today I have quite the throwback for you all. We will be looking at my Dexa results from 7 weeks out from my pro qualifier in the Wnbf. In this show I did compete at the age of 19 and competed in the teen bodybuilding division as well as the men's open light heavyweight division. And this scan is back from March 7th, 2019. I did plan on making this video much earlier, but ultimately I threw away the paper results from the Dexa that I actually had, and then I didn't have access to the file to get those results until recently. I did get them once again. So we will be going over those in this video, and then also I just want to go through what a Dexa is and get a better understanding for that test for you all. Without further ado, I'm going to roll some photos that I have from the day of the Dexa, and without any prior knowledge, I just want you guys to go down after you pause the video and comment what you think my body fat is going to come out at. So now that you guys have put those guesses in the comment section down below for my body fat, I'm going to go through what a Dexa scan actually is to give you some background information on it. So a Dexa is actually an X-ray impedance scan that is often used to diagnose patients in the medical field with diseases such as osteoporosis or other mineral deficiencies in their bone density. And ultimately it is a scan that is used for that primarily, but it does also measure the fat mass and lean tissue mass of patients. So with that, unfortunately, even though it is one of the best scans and one of the best tests that you can get for body fat composition, or body composition in general, it still does have an error of plus or minus 4% roughly from the research that I have done on it. And ultimately there is no perfect body composition test out there, because the human body does have so many variables. And the only way you could perfectly dissect a human is to literally dissect them and break them down and then weigh each individual part. But with a living human person, that is not physically possible. So there will be no perfect test by any means. And just to demonstrate that to you all, I'm going to quickly throw on screen some results of 2 Dexa scans that Stephanie Buttermore had done a couple of years ago, just one day apart, and her results were drastic. And then with that, also the Dexa scan does tend to actually measure body fat a bit higher than other tests. For example, if you were to measure with calipers per se, you're looking at about 5 to 7% body fat measurements that would be less. So ultimately the Dexa does measure relatively high compared to other tests. So I will go ahead and throw up a video of a Dexa that I had done more recently, and still don't have the results back for that just because I am in this study right now, but I do plan on making a future video going through how my body has changed, so you will have to stay tuned for that. But I'm gonna throw that video of the Dexa time lapse just to give you an idea of how the scan works, and then we will come back and break down my results, and then also compare it to some other people that have had Dexas done to give you a better idea. Alrighty, so on screen right now are my Dexa results. My body fat did come out at 15%. And if you do want to actually take some screenshots of this, you can do, but I also did summarize some of the key points of the results, as I know that can get pretty in depth with all of the different things like bone densities, masses for fat, and also masses for muscle mass and that type of thing. So I will summarize those for you in the next slide, but if you are interested in the nitty gritty, feel free to pause the video and take screenshots of that for further dissection, I guess. But without further ado, let's hop straight into my Dexa results. So my weight coming into the scan was roughly 202.2 pounds, and my height is 5'10", and the body fat, as mentioned, did come right at 15%. And as I did mention previously, the error on body fat is roughly plus or minus 4% for Dexa scans. And then also other tests such as the calipers will measure much lower, 5 to 7% roughly. So then my body fat would have came out at around 8 to 10% on the calipers. So breaking down fat and lean mass, my fat mass came out at 30.7 pounds. And then my lean mass, which would include muscles and also bones, came to 174.6. And that total mass did come out to 205.3 pounds, which is over 3 pounds greater than my weigh-in, which could be an error on the scale that I did weigh in on, or it could be an error on the Dexa scan. But either way, I think it just demonstrates that there will be an error in any body composition test that you do. And then also moving on to bone density now. My bone density came out at 144% higher than what would be considered a healthy individual. So roughly a 0% bone density would be considered healthy on this metric of scale. And then also a number greater than 1 would be considered healthy on a different scale. And my result for that would actually be 2.4. So the results are kind of weird to understand in that section, but ultimately what you can take from that is my bone density is quite high compared to most. And a key contributing factor to that, and what I've realized from the research, is resistance trained people, or like highly resistance trained people that do lift weights often will tend to have a higher bone density, as your bones do grow stronger from being under those heavy loads. And then also I will contribute that partly to growing up in Wisconsin and having a lot of dairy in my diet since being a child. So that calcium definitely did help, I would say. But without further ado, moving on to fat mass index now. So this is a fat mass kilograms over my height in meters squared. And that number did come out to 4.41, which, to give you a perspective, a video that I did watch on YouTube, which I will link below, along with Stephanie Buttermores, and then also Jeff Nippard, who I'll do a comparison later on with their results to give you an idea of how body fat does look on a person. And then the results came out to, anyways, my fat mass index did come out to 4.41. And in the Matt Does Fitness video, the doctor did say that 3.6 or lower would be considered a staged lean professional bodybuilder. And being 7 weeks out at 4.41, I would have definitely been interested to see what my number actually was on stage, because I was definitely a lot leaner going into my show, as you would expect. So that would have been interesting to see, but 3.6 is considered staged. Alrighty, so moving on to the lean index, or lean mass in kilograms over my height in meters squared. My result did come out to 23.9, which is very high, I would say, and it's quite impressive, and I am definitely happy with it. And I will put that partly on my genetics as well as much as I do train. The doctor did mention that 25 would be considered the natural limit for somebody, and ultimately anyone over 25, you would suspect that they are on performance-enhancing drugs or another pharmaceutical that would contribute to their lean mass index being higher than that 25 number. And then the doctor did also mention in that Matt Does Fitness video that a professional bodybuilder's result would be over 90%. And my result did come out to 96% on that category. And you would think then, why am I not like a professional bodybuilder or anything? There are a ton of things that go into actually winning your pro card in bodybuilding, such as like your not your body composition, but how your body is structured, whether you have narrow hips, your muscle bellies. There's just a ton of things. And then also stage leanness do contribute to that. With that being mentioned, also, as my fat mass index would approach that 3.6 or lower for being a stage lean bodybuilder, you would suspect that some of my lean mass would also go away, taking that lean mass index number down also. So that being said, you can't just take one category of a thing and then apply that for everything else. There are a ton of variables that go into bodybuilding for sure. But without further ado, moving on from my results, I do want to share just some comparison photos, and I will throw those up on screen right now. Alrighty, so what you did just see is ultimately Matt Does Fitness, and then also Jeff Nippard, who both have videos of Dexa scans, who I will link down below, as well as Stephanie Buttermore's Dexa down below, as well as Stephanie Buttermore's Dexa scan video, if you do want to watch those after this video. But their results were quite shocking, as you would think that Matt Does Fitness is much leaner. Obviously, it was a picture, so his 14.1% result. Pictures can be very deceiving, and that was probably highly edited, as I did get that off of his Instagram from right around when he did have his Dexa done. And then Jeff Nippard's was ultimately just a screenshot taken from the video of when they were doing some posing with Christopher Bearcat. And it was also during his prep when he was very deep in. I unfortunately don't know how many weeks out or the full information on that, but that just gives you an idea of roughly how different and drastic Dexa scan results can actually come out. So ultimately, I just wanted to break that down in depth for you guys, and I hope you guys did go on to enjoy the video, and it does bring you some just good information regarding the Dexa scan and other body composition tests that you can do. And in the future, I do plan on bringing a video with my mini cut and then also my most recent Dexa scan results and that stuff, and sharing that with you. But anyways, if you did go on to enjoy this video, make sure to like, comment down below, and also subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on further content. But I guess just stay awesome, and I'll see you guys in the next one.